Up next, we have with us the second power-packed keynote speech on digital disruption, a matter of organizational survival by Mr. Timothy Ver, Deputy Director at the State Department of ICT and Innovation, Ministry of ICT, Youth and Innovation, Kenya. The stage is all yours, dear Timothy. Over to you. And we apologize, for the slight overshoot in the previous keynote.
Thank you very much, Roger. Is my presentation visible?
It's up.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it is visible now.
Yes, you
Yes.
can see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you very much for this opportunity. I know the subject is on cloud and cybersecurity, but I decided to look at it in a different way because we are seeing that the role of the CIO and other ICT practitioners has really gone wide. It's no longer just the nuts and bolts, but it's about strategy, it's about thinking about the survival of the organization. So there's this statement that I've always liked, and I always deal with all the time, uh, by the Zurich Center for Cyber Strategies. A while back, we looked at ICT and cyber as something technical, but now it is a national challenge. We are going into the fourth industrial revolution, and ICT is a key player in that. There are good things, there's a lot of innovation and development, and there's a lot of bad things, the cyber insecurity and all that it brings. And the CIO is at the center of this. So, in looking at digital disruption, I categorized it into three. The digital disruption that we normally talk of is the one for innovation or competition. But I think cyber security issue is also about digital disruption in a criminal manner. And the other major disruption that would come is when you have challenges with your talent or manpower to be able to run your ICT systems. So Techopedia talks of digital disruption as changes, the effect that changes the fundamental expectations, all right, in a culture. While Gartner talks about advances in technology that change the markets and societies, all right. Looking at the traditional or what we've known as the disruptors, right? We have companies like Uber, Google, and Amazon that have been operating in a very complicated landscape of digital disruption. They are digital leaders, all right? We have the Microsoft GM for cloud, who say that if you don't disrupt, you will be disrupted. So this means that we need to be at the cutting edge of innovation. We need to be with the innovators. We need to complement them if we are not doing the innovation ourselves. So organizations have this wait and see attitude um, uh, um, in terms of innovation. But you note that waiting until the threat is clear is often too late. It means you'll be caught flat-footed, right? So true innovators affecting change don't just innovate, they disrupt, right? They disrupt. And we are told that digital disruptions exists outside the organization normal vision, right? It means that you have to dig deep. It means that you have to have insights. You have to do research to be able to know what is happening in your industry and other industries that can be able to affect you. And the CIO, I dare say, is now becoming more and more of a strategic leader and not just a technical leader or a leader of technical departments, right? So the question would be, are you a disruptor, right? Um, uh, sorry. We need to have digital capabilities, and we need to take advantage of digital capabilities to create fundamental shifts, right? What is happening now is that we have digital infrastructure platforms, amongst them the cloud platforms and services, and these lower the entry barrier to explore new digital technologies. Um, so the entry barrier has been lowered. It means that it's possible for organizations to explore potential responses to digital disruption, right? Now, we don't have to do a total overhaul of our technology to be able to do this. It's just a combination of the existing technologies, right? And possibly a different business model or focus that will deliver this disruptive experience. Okay. Gartner tries to classify the elements of digital disruption as shown there. And we could be talking of business, we could be talking of technology, we could be talking of the industry, and we could be talking of society as the elements of business disruption, right? So if we take the example of Facebook, right? It was not the first social platform, but it developed the platform. It invented many things like following and likes. And there was also the issue of no user fee. The contemporaries were moving towards charging a fee, but Facebook knew that it could make money otherwise by not charging the end user any fee. We have seen Amazon Web Services that has disrupted the on-site server industry with the infrastructure or platform as a service offering, right? So that we now don't think of on-site servers, right? We can talk of Netflix, we can talk of Google itself, right? All these are disruptors that have led in their specific areas. So as a CIO, you'll need to set up what we refer to as sensory tools to be able to monitor your environment, to be able to know what is happening. You need to be able to separate a disruptive technology from a fad. Fads just create a lot of excitement, but then they die down after a while, right? So you need to be able to monitor the industry, the consumer trends, and the consumer behavior, especially if you are a customer-facing organization. You need to know what the funders, the venture capitalists, the investors are doing. That will be able to give you a pointer as to what is of interest in the market, what may be the next great thing, right? You need to check what is happening in adjacent markets, all right? These are complementary markets. You could check the region. You could check the advanced market where you aspire to be. So if you are able to check that, then you'll be able to know where you need to be heading towards, right? And within the organization, there's need for partnership with the marketing, the finance, the supply chain, and more so the research and development units. You know that these organizations or these departments sometimes work in silos. They get a lot of intelligence from the marketplace, but they don't connect this to disruption in one way or another. If you are able to share with these other departments, then you may be able to know what is happening out there and how you need to position the company, what systems, what frameworks you need to implement, right? Once you use these sensory tools, there'll be a lot of big data. So you'll also need to get some data science and business intelligence to be able to mine this data lake so that you get insights concerning your industry or particular operation. There are many technologies, but according to Gartner and even Zetova, a local ICT firm, blockchain and artificial intelligence are the main disruptive technologies that CIOs need to be considering very keenly. I know we have experts here, so I won't go into the details, but these have been touted as the technologies that will be able to break or make organizations. Amazon, Google, IBM, and Microsoft were leaders in AI, but about 2 years ago, the smaller startups have overtaken those giants. Okay. Now, apart from competitive digital disruption that I've been talking about, the other digital disruption, according to me, is the criminal one. And this is where cybercrime and cyber attacks come in. And I'll choose to look at it from a bird's eye view, yeah, that whatever is happening here is about to disrupt our digital setup. I know there are experts here who have spoken and will speak about the nuts and bolts of cybercrime. I just want to look at it from a bird's eye view, that it is now something that is an industry, right? Yeah. We have very advanced firms, so to speak, firms in quotes, that deal with cybercrime. So CIOs need to be very alert. CIOs need to be prepared for an attack. Somebody said it is not if you will be attacked, but it's about when you will be attacked. All right. Looking at this, it may not be very clear. This was done by the World Economic Forum in 2020, right? And they were looking at the global threats and the global risks landscape. And if you look at that in the top right quadrant, cyber attacks is there right next to human disasters, right? And then we have information infrastructure breakdown also in that quadrant. And in the quadrant below it, we have data fraud or theft. And we also have advanced technological adverse technological advances. So as we consider the global risks landscape, we as ICT practitioners should know that we are contributing to the risk that have been ranked very highly. And so we need to be aware of this disruption. Since we are encouraging everyone to go digital, it comes with a negative side. So we need to be aware of this, and we need to take precaution so that we are able to sort our firms and those possibly who are dealing with states like me are also able to sort the state in terms of digital resilience. Looking at some data for Africa, you can be able to see there was a report by Seriano, and they were talking of 10% impact on the GDP caused by cybercrime. The countries that are darker colored are more prone to cybercrime. We have South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Morocco in the north, as being main targets. The number of attacks that have been recorded are staggering. There are so many being attacked, okay? And the numbers are increasing, right? The numbers are increasing. I think these details you can be able to get online. There have been attacks, which I won't go with, very well documented attacks, right? ITU did a global cybersecurity index, which looks at the legal, technical, organizational, capacity development, and cooperation. And as you can see there are African countries that are ranked, with Mauritius being the first, and Zambia being closing the top 10 in Africa. So there's work that needs to be done in terms of critical infrastructure resiliency. There's also a report given there, and Africa had a very low resiliency in terms of critical infrastructure. So we need to be able to look at this. I think cybersecurity has been talked about and will be talked about. The last disruption that I think CIOs don't pay much attention to is this of talent disruption, all right? We have adopted tech in Africa, but we now suffer a shortage in talent. We have several multinationals setting base in East and Central Africa and Southern Africa. And also after COVID, there was increase in remote work, so that we've seen many people here in Africa working for the West, but from Africa. So it means we have up to 44% resignation rates in talent. And this should be the headache of the CIO. So there are several methods here. I can see Roger, I think my time is up. Yeah. Yes, there are several actions that we need to look at. So I think in conclusion, we will need as CIOs to be more strategic and to look at the digital disruption as we know it traditionally, the criminal digital distraction that is referred to as cybercrime, and the talent disruption. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Timothy, for the insightful keynotes. I'm sure our eminent delegates would have definitely benefited from your gracious keynote speech. I hope you continue to have a nice the rest of the day and do enjoy the summer. Thank you.